Brought to you by Get Well Yoga. Get back to doing what you love.
Time there. So we've got a practice where we're continuing the hips and hamstrings emphasis today. And it's interesting, the hamstrings, of course, reside in the back of the thigh here. Three large muscles continuing and joining to the pelvis. There's a looped bone at the bottom of the pelvis, the ischial tuberosity, where the hamstrings insert. And there can be a lot of trauma and micro tears in this region. The hamstrings adapt to the position that they're in. There is a fourth hamstring muscle which rarely gets talked about, which is on the outside of the thigh down to the knee. That's the biceps femoris. So we want to be able to access all of those four hamstring muscles because they do contract and adapt to the position that they're in. So if we're seated all day, they will shorten and adapt to that position. And because they insert here into this bottom of the pelvis, it pulls the back down. It draws the back down when the hamstrings are contracted, and this can cause a lot of discomfort in the lower back. It puts stress on the hip flexors and the hip extensors. So we want to keep the hamstrings nice and extended or return them back to their normal position of at least somewhat lengthened when we're upright in extension. Anything you want to add to that about the hamstrings and hips?
Well, that's great.
So we'll start with some gentle circling of the hips. I invite you to just breathe quietly in and out of the nose, and I'll record the Zoom content as well. So we begin to circle the hips. Now I invite you to take the hands into the kidneys in the back body. Firmly into the kidneys, see if you can draw the hips forward and to the side. And we're using the full motion of the spine and body here, the upper back, mid back, lower back. Breathing quietly, politely in and out of the nose. Today we invite you to challenge yourself, but don't strain yourself. We applaud you for knowing your own bodies. We want to be able to do these practices all our life. So it is about developing awareness, this self-awareness. And then in the opposite direction a few times. Let the hands into the kidneys in the back body help guide the movement forward to the side and gliding the hips back. There's no hurry. And then begin to isolate the movement into the lower back as we move to the other side. So the upper back is fairly still, and we're rotating the hips, the largest joint in the body, the ball and socket joint of the hip. And in the opposite direction, keeping the upper back fairly still, isolating the movement to the lower back and hips. You can even close your eyes and imagine drawing a circle with your tailbone between your feet. Wonderful. So we come into a moving meditation. I invite you to take the arms out to a T, about shoulder height, and the thumb and middle finger come together. Slight back bend here, and the natural position of the spine is one of extension. It's this slight back bend. This is the natural position for the spine. So we're returning the spine to its natural position. As we exhale, the left hand comes forward, we'll mirror you, and the bottom hand comes underneath the elbow. Inhaling, thumb to middle finger, chest gets bigger, heart gets bigger. Exhaling, other arm comes forward in front at the midline. Slight bend in the knees. And we're finding a sense of ease. Ease within effort. Right? When we do these moves in Qigong, QiYoga, as we're developing this protocol, we see if we can transfer this same sense of ease within effort into our everyday activities, whether it's communicating with a partner, a colleague. So we can find this sense of ease. Exhale. Begin to lengthen the exhale as the hand comes across the midline. Imaginary piece of string spanning right across the heart. Spread toes wide. Place the wide spread toes back down. Two more breaths. There's only one thing that's missing. I think Kay might know. It's the smile, right? We do these practices with a sense of joy and wellness. Kay's probably heard me say this in our yoga classes. Last one. Just for a moment, hold this and close the eyes. Imaginary piece of string spanning right across the heart. Wonderful. As we take the arms and place the palms facing down, walk the feet a little wider, and we're pressing firmly over the outstretched arm, out past the fingertips. The hand faces then up to the heavens as we press firmly along the inside, right across the top of the opposite arm towards the fingers as best you can. Hand flips over as we press along the inside of the arm. Both hands then press down the outside of the leg. Pressing firmly along the inside of the leg to the belly or the lower dantian, energy gateway. As we exhale down the outside of the leg, along the inside, moving now to the outstretched arm, extending out over the fingers. Inhale, a nourishing breath. Exhale. Inhale. Releasing, exhale, pressing firmly down the outside of the leg. Gathering energy to the important signature point, the energy gateway of the lower dantian. Exhale, release trapped and stagnant energy. Standing once more, last one. Perhaps extending a little further over the outstretched arm, past the fingers. Really wonderful stretch here. This is a full body stretch. We're getting the hips here on this lateral stretch, pressing firmly. We're coming through all the meridians in the body. Wonderful. As we come into placing one hand at the back of the head and the other hand at the kidney. So the pinky sits underneath the crease of the ear and the hand rests lightly in the lower back. Inhaling a nourishing breath, just grow tall for a moment. Spread toes wide and then place the wide spread toes back down as you lengthen out through the elbow, out through the crown of the head. Exhaling deeply, and there's a twist here as the elbow comes to the opposite knee. Inhaling as we grow tall once more, and there's a twist now in the opposite direction as we look around to the back behind us. Draw the back of the hand into the lower back. Exhale as we come down, elbow to opposite knee. Inhale, nourishing breath through the tip of the nose as we twist an axial rotation. Exhaling. 2 more breaths. Coordinating the movement with our breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling. Moving gracefully to the other side. Back of the hand comes to lower back, pinky underneath crease of ear. Grow tall for a moment. Lengthen through the spine, down through the feet. Spread toes wide, starting with the foundation, the roots. Draw the feet into the earth. The eye of the soul is an energy gateway. See if you can connect into the earth. Lengthen up through the legs, through the spine, out through the crown of the head. Exhaling, elbow to opposite knee. Slight twist here as we come up, inhaling, exhaling back down. Use the hand in the lower back energetically to help you lengthen out through the crown of the head. Both hands at play. Last one. Wonderful. As we slowly bring the arms up in a clearing gesture, and the hands slowly come down the midline about an inch or two. As we take the feet a little wider and place 2 firm fists facing up at the hips. Kibahach, goddess stance. Inhaling a nourishing breath, the arm extends out to the side very slowly. And we're gathering energy. So imagine gathering a ball of energy and drawing it back into the body. Shaolin punch. Interestingly, the Shaolin monks in the 11th century, were seen by an Indian monk traveling through the lands, and he noticed that they were meditating, which was fantastic, very still, seated, however, and they were getting a little out of shape. So he went into a cave, Tok Mo, and developed, after 8 years, a technique for being able to defend themselves, as well as come into this moving meditation. And this is one of the practices, the Shaolin punch. So as we do this with our breath, we can gather this sense of calmness and vitality as we draw vitality into the body. We're gathering energy. Wonderful. As we slowly come back to standing, we're going to turn the back foot in and we're going to bend the front leg. The front hand comes to bent front thigh as we take the opposite hand down to the earth, palm faces out as we windmill up to the sky and back behind us. There's no hurry. Moving with the breath. Let the breath guide the practice. Inhaling as the arm rises, exhaling as the arm descends. Can set a gaze, a dristi, right over the middle finger, single point of focus as it comes back behind us. This way we also get a nice twist in the neck and shoulders. So we're moving with agility here. This is the fast twitch muscle response when we move and glide through the body. Then we come into a hold, which is a slow twitch muscle, which is a pose for strengthening. When we come into a still moment, and feel free to take the arm up to the heavens if that feels better in the shoulder today, You can take the arm to a straight line. The full expression of the pose is the elbow on the thigh, but we're not dumping into the torso here. We're trying to keep some distance between the lower part of the torso and the thigh, and we're extending out through the fingertips, creating one long line of energy all the way out through the fingers, out through a strong, straight back leg. However, the hand can be up here if that feels better. You can rotate the heart up to the heavens and begin to look at the fingertip, the middle finger, if that feels better. If you want to challenge yourself further, you can take both arms, head relaxed, looking at the horizon line, and begin to engage the core muscles. Inhaling, letting the top arm glide you out of the movement as we move gracefully to the other side. Back foot turns in, strong straight back leg, bent front leg as we begin to windmill the arm around a few times. Inhaling, exhaling. Notice if there's any clenching of the jaw. See if you can soften face. Notice what the front toes are doing. Are they clenching the earth? Are they clenching the ground? See if you can release unconscious stress in the toes. See if the knee is aligned over ankle. We don't want to be diving in or out with the knee. As we come into that slow twitch muscle response for strengthening, really good for any osteoporosis. We're strengthening the bones as well as the muscles here. Option to come down on the elbow at thigh. Big option to turn the heart up towards the heavens. Option just to keep the hand up to the sky with a hand on the knee if that feels good for you today. Option to take both arms up to the heavens, or out to the side, I should say. And we're looking at the horizon rather than looking up here. We don't want to put too much strain on the neck and upper back. Strong, straight back leg. Inhaling as the top arm guides you out of the movement. As we come into Warrior Two, we're extending two arms forward, making a firm fist. The hand behind us comes to the lower back in a firm fist as we bend deeply at the elbow and rotate, and we're setting our gaze over the knuckles of the firm fist. Inhaling back. Exhaling, back hand comes to lower back. There's a slight back bend here along with the twist. Just doing the best with what you have today. Try not to dump into the lower back. Keep extending out through the crown of the head to avoid compressing the lower part of the spine. Moving to the other side, bending deeply the front leg, back leg turns in, making a firm fist. Back hand comes to lower back. Grow long out through the crown of the head. Slight back bend. Wonderful. As we take both arms up, slowly back down through the midline. As we take the hands now to the back of the head, interlacing fingers behind the head, we come with the feet now hip width, shoulder width apart. And we're bending deeply at the knees. The forearms come together, and we're holding for a moment. And then we come up sharply on the exhale. Inhale and exhaling up. A little bit differently on how we normally breathe. Normally we'd exhale as we come down. In this case, we're gathering energy here, strengthening the leg muscles and hamstrings. 2 more breaths. Wonderful. Both hands come out slowly. Thumb to middle finger. We're taking the right hand up and down through the midline, slowly extending out through the palm. Arms come up to shoulder height, thumb to middle finger. The left arm comes down the midline as the right arm stays at shoulder height, thumb to middle finger. Smoothing the energy around us. Smoothing the energy within us. Keep one arm at shoulder height, thumb to middle finger, as the opposite hand glides down through the midline, releasing trapped and stagnant energy. Wonderful. So we take both arms up in a clearing gesture. Very slowly down through the midline. We'll just do a release before we hand it over to Mary Jo. Inhaling, both hands come up to the heart. Exhaling slowly back down. Let's do a 4-part breath here. Equal part breathing. So we're inhaling for 4, 2, 3, 4, and pausing for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, and pausing for 4, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling and pausing. Exhaling very slowly and pausing at the bottom of the exhale. Just noticing the intervals at the top of the inhale and the interval at the bottom of the exhale. Doso.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Fantastic practice. I'm energized now.
I'm going to give you the microphone and we'll just clip that on. Oh, I've lost the filter.
Okay, I don't need that.
I think I can put that filter back on. And I'll strap you in. Thanks.
I think we'll swap places.
Swap places, yeah, good idea. Lighting's a little better there.
Okay. We'll continue on with the Qigong. This time, the next form is called open and closing the gates. With your feet hip width distance apart, please bring both arms into a cactus position. As we inhale, let's take our elbows to our back, our chest comes forward. We're moving into a slight back bend. Again, it's from the upper back. And as we exhale, let's come forward. Both arms glide forward. Your palms face opposite of each other. Your knees are bent. And you're coming down to basically a flat back. And let's inhale. Come back into a cactus position. Bend. Slight extension of the upper back, and exhale. Heart moves forward. Both palms are away from each other. Bend your knees. Come into a flat back, a tabletop position. Inhale. Let's extend that back. Try not to use your lower back. It's all your upper back. And exhale. Heart moves forward. Arms are both forward. Knees are relaxed, but bent. Let's take this up one more time. Inhale. So we're opening gates, and as we move into the exhalation, we are closing the gates. Let's do this once more. Inhale, come back, open your chest, and exhale. Let's close the gates to a flat back. Let's come back, arms back to center. Let's just smooth these out, smooth your legs. Rotate the arms. From here, let's keep our feet and legs hip distance apart as we move into a lateral stretch. Let's bring our arm up to the heavens. And then laterally, let's move it over to one side. So this is a two-directional stretch. See if you can just bring your wrists up to the sky as your bottom hand reaches out to the earth. Let's come back to center. And let's move your other hand. Again, lateral stretches are really good foundational stretches for your body, creating space between your joints, great for your tendons and your ligaments. Again, this is a posture that we normally don't do in our everyday movements. So, fantastic practice is to just laterally stretch your side body. Good for your spine, lengthens your side body. These are this is actually both a Qigong and a yoga stretch. These movements in Qigong are for the wood element, and a practice that's used as we move into spring here in Australia. Spring, or the wood element, represents tendons and the ligaments. Let's take this once more to the other side. Let's come back to center and let's settle our chi. Let's bring our arms out and up and clear energy that is not serving you. We're going to do this 3 times. Our second clearing, let's see if we can bring in energy that serves you, positive energy, vibrance. And let's take this out and up for a 3rd time, and let's seal this into our mind and body. We've just now settled our chi. Now let's move into another form called pulsing movement. So we will be drawing our hips back as we draw our both hands forward. And this is a great practice to harmonize your energy, your chi. John mentioned a moving meditation. This is a moving meditation, trying to see if you can come into a state of flow. State of flow where we're most intuitive and creative. Can we try and synchronize our breath to our movement? Exhale as we come back. Inhale as we come forward and extend our arms forward. Harmonizing our chi. Let's do one more. For those of you that have joined us before, we actually introduced the animals over the last couple of weeks. I'd like to introduce another animal, one of the animal frolics. It's called Rooster Stands on One Leg. I invite you to take your front foot or your left foot and bring it forward. Rest on your toes. As we inhale, let's take our knee and our arm up and slowly come back down as we bring our foot back to the earth, rolling it to our heels. Let's bring the other foot forward. Bend your knee to a 90-degree position and your arm comes up to a 90-degree position. And let's come back down to earth, rolling onto the heels of your foot. Slow. Good way to balance. Very meditative. Rooster stands on one leg. The challenge of this practice is being able to just be slow and mindful. It does help for balance if you could find a spot in front of you. As John mentioned, a dristi point. You could challenge yourself even further by taking that leg up higher and move slower with intention and mindfulness. Let's do one more set. Another animal frolic we have today will be the deer, or a buck, the male deer. We are going to use our hands and create hoofs, deer hoofs. So if you could take all 4 fingers and just place that onto your thumb, and these will be your hoofs. And then your reindeer or your antlers will be your 2, take the ring finger and the little finger and create hoofs. Antlers for them. So let's bring our left leg. Your heels come forward to a diagonal. Shift your weight onto the back leg and create hoofs with our arms. And bring our arms to our side and up to the heavens. Let's create antlers and shift our weight forward. Our front foot is bent. Our back arm comes behind us. And let's rest here as we look and twist and look at our back heel. And let's take that arm back up. The antlers meet each other. And our hoofs come back. And our front foot meets our back. And let's take the right leg and rest on our heel. Shift your weight to your back foot. Create your hoofs. Shift our weight. Both arms come to the left as we create our antlers with our arms up. One arm comes to the back. We shift our weight forward. And let's have that back arm meet the other arm. And our hoofs come back into play. Okay, let's do this again. Left heel comes down to a diagonal in front of you. Shift your weight to your back foot. Hoofs come out. Antlers. And let's shift our weight to the front foot. As one arm comes behind us. As we look behind to our heels. Let's bring that back arm up. Antlers meet each other. And our deer hoofs come back in. These are all ancient practices, or a form of an ancient practice developed many, many centuries ago by a physician. And these practices were developed for health, wellness, from here, let's take our left leg and bring it behind us. We're going to come into a posture which is very similar to Warrior One. So if you can have your both feet about hip distance apart, both legs about hip distance apart, your back heel should be resting on the earth if you can. If that's a little difficult, try and keep the stance a little narrower. But we do want the pelvis in a stationary position. If both toes can actually face the front of the rope. And as we inhale, one arm will be raised up to the sky and then our front knee bends. So let's inhale. And let's come back as we exhale. Our knee straightens. Inhale. And let's straighten our knee. And synchronizing the breath with your movements. As John says, do the best with what you can and what you have today. On our next move, let us just stay here See if you could extend that left arm to the heavens. Bring your hips together. Take an inhale and an exhale in place. And let's come back down. Let's take that back leg forward to meet the other leg. Now let's take the right leg back. See if we can keep the pelvis straight. Back leg or back foot is rooted to the earth. And let's take an inhale and bend our front knee. And back down. Moving dynamically. Dynamic movements prepare us for our static posture. We're working on the psoas here and also our hip flexors. Let's take one more pose and let's just hold here. Try and keep the hips to the center of your body. Extend that arm up. See if we can stretch that front psoas. And exhale. The back foot meets the front foot. Let's take our feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. As we come to a forward fold, inhale and then let's fold down to the earth. Bend your knees, interlace your fingers, your palms face you. Let's lift both hands up. And then as it comes to your chin, let's reverse the palms so it faces the sky. And then let's fold forward as we're scooping energy from the earth. Let's come back up. We're stretching here the front of your body. And then we're coming to a slight back bend as we stretch the back body and the hamstrings. Let's scoop forward. And bring that energy up. Palms face up. Really great movement too. For your front body and also your back body. Great for your lower back. Let's work on 2 more rotations. You're welcome to bend your knees if that feels better for you. If you want a deeper stretch, and keep your legs straight as you come up. Let's come to center. Let's bring our feet back so they're hip distance apart. Let's bring our, for women, it's the left hand over the right, and let's bring our hands over to our lower dantian, our energy center. We just have cultivated energy. We've harmonized our chi. And now let's settle and bring that into our body. So we move into a standing meditation. Let's just sense the space in front of you, the space behind you, the space to your right side, and your left side. Can you sense the mouth, the nose, the touch of air on your face? The eyelids, and the play between light and darkness. You bring your attention to what's arising right now. Just simply notice how you feel, welcoming sensations. You bring in an inner resource, something that helps ground you, that makes you feel safe, and nourish that feeling through the entire body, from the crown of the head all the way through your torso to the soles of your feet. Notice how these sensations and inform your awareness. Let's rest here. Notice the sounds that you hear. Let's take our arms out to the side as we clear. Thank you for joining us today, and we appreciate you being a part of our practice and love the sounds that we hear.
Yeah, thanks, Jasper. I think that was Jasper the dog, our Vice President. Hey, thanks again for joining us. Great to see you. David and Nicole, fabulous.
We'll see
Dax.
We'll see you again. Thank you.
Melissa, well done for joining us. Kay, Tess.
Have a good week.
Hi, John.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Fee.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.